All right. Today's CEO update is in fact going to be a CSO update, Chief Science Officer update. I'm sure all of you recognize David Pauza, but just in case you don't know him well, he is the chief scientist here. He is the guy who leads the entire R&D effort. He is my right-hand guy in science. He is a pillar of the company. Don't let it go to his head, though. We think a lot. We think very highly of him. Everybody does. David and I really do a terrific job on the road together because I'm good at selling our story, but I can put David toe-to-toe with any scientist in the world, and they will be impressed. David doesn't just know his stuff, he knows how to explain it. And a great example of that was a couple of weeks ago at the Alliance of Regenerative Medicine, where David and I had a bunch of partnering meetings and meetings with investors and things like that. David gave a spectacular science talk on what AGT is doing, and then he got recruited to sub in for a Nobel laureate who had to drop out at the last minute, and he gave the keynote speech. And I got to tell you that we're going to post that speech. It's going to be online. We're going to send that link out. It was fantastic. It was funny, topical. It was deep in science, in important science that the entire audience really appreciated. And David, you even managed to weave in 2 of AGT's projects and make the company look amazing. So good on you, as they say down in Australia. Anyway, so the reason I wanted you to meet David is not, so that you can send him thank you cards. Please do if you like. But the reason is we've got big news on the patent front recently, and I just wanted you to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. It's something that's very exciting to me. And so without further ado, if you don't mind, David, would you share the news with our investors and other folks and let them know what's going on?
Well, Jeff, thanks for those kind words. And the intellectual property development in the company, I think, is really another one of these team activities. And my job is to work closely with the scientific groups to make sure that products and new discoveries are happening, but it's also to work closely with you and with our attorneys, so we're in Phoenix, to keep pushing ahead on this intellectual property front. And I sort of reformulate what comes out of the lab, get it into the right shape. I think the push that you've put on this, the emphasis that you've put on it, has been right from the beginning. And I think that when you talk about the value that the company has been able to create in this area, I think that's the proof of the pudding of how important it has been. So as everyone probably knows, we have a very important program here in immuno-oncology, and that complements our programs on phenylketonuria and our lead program going into the clinic, which is our HIV functional cure. And we have developed extensive intellectual property in the HIV and phenylketonuria areas. We feel that we're reasonably well protected there, and that IP is of high value. We have also been working hard to create intellectual property in the immuno-oncology area, and as everyone knows, this is a very hot space for discovery and new products. We were alerted by our patent attorney of the opportunity to use a fast-track procedure in the patent office, which was a pilot program run by the U.S. Patent Office for new applications in immunotherapy, particularly immuno-oncology. And so we jumped on that immediately. We took one of our existing filed patents, we reworked it to get it right into the format that was required for the fast track, and then we submitted it. And in something that's astonishing everybody, especially our patent attorney, is that we were given what's called an allowance within 4 weeks of the date of submission.
Wow.
And so an allowance means, and the allowance letter reads, the review of merits for this case is closed, meaning there will be no further prosecution of the patent. The examiner looked at it once, decided it was fine, and sent it on to the queue to be granted.
Wow, so no more review means, in other words, it passed in 4 weeks.
It passed in 4 weeks with no revision, no discussion. And this was just good work of the team. And it was everybody from the discovery level who were helping create these patents all the way up to our attorneys and to Jeff overseeing the entire process in order for us to do this. But our attorney, who's been practicing law for a very long time in a number of important other companies and scenarios, told us this is the first time in his career this has happened.
Wow. And Bill is quite experienced at this, having had many years at Pfizer. Even before he started doing patent work at Snell and Wilmer. Yeah. So one of the things that really excited me when you told me the news, it was the specific patent. It's the gamma delta T cell patent. And this was a piece of technology that I just think was absolutely brilliant and creative and characteristic of everything that I hope to achieve at this company. That you guys had thought of a way to stimulate gamma delta cells without changing them like CAR T would do to a T cell, and to make them highly effective against tumor cells, the cells that they naturally surveil for, but that you could increase their activity, and that you had a way that was novel, that was patentable, and this thing just proves that. Could you explain to us a little bit about, sort of the mechanics, the mechanism of action, or the importance of that gamma delta T cell patent, so folks can get that?
Well, let me just contrast it first with what's going on in these recently approved products called CAR T. And what CAR T requires is that there's a unique marker or a unique molecule on the surface of a tumor cell, and that you can build a system that recognizes that unique marker and attacks that tumor cell. Then you can take all T cells in the body and reprogram them to go after that marker. And that's great, and that it can be very effective, but only a minor fraction of all tumors have such a marker. But all tumors have some disturbance on their surface. The tumor cells display and reveal themselves as rapidly growing or uncontrolled growing cells. And we have very subtle detection systems in the body called natural immunity that are able to see tumor cells because of this odd property they have of growth. We knew about a specific aspect of that odd growth property, and then we knew how to build a lentivirus vector to just massively exaggerate it. So we took a mistake, if you will, that the tumor cells are making all the time of leaving a trail, and we just made it a big 4-lane highway by exaggerating it with the lentiviral vector. And one of the things Jeff's referring to about how this works is our goal has always been that the tumor is the thing we're trying to get rid of. The tumor is the thing we'll modify genetically with our lentivirus vectors. We don't want to change basic mechanisms of the host that are required for everyday functions. And so we don't want to reprogram your immune system if we can avoid it. We want to reprogram the tumor. And that's what we've been successful with so far. This very rapid success in the patent review, I think, just gets everybody really invigorated even more than they were before. If you could see the data that I see in model systems where tumors are just melting away, essentially, and Jeff has seen all this as well, and I think we'll agree that's kind of spectacular.
Other scientists that we've shown this data to have been incredibly impressed at the mouse results already. And as you just explained, you're doing something that allows the immune system to go after a wide variety of cancers because they reveal themselves in this subtle way, whereas CAR T works well on certain cancers that reveal themselves in very specific ways. This thing has much more broader applicability. The other thing that you once told me that really stuck with me, you told me that the immune system is so smart and so complex that if you wanted the smartest part of your body to run your body, it would be the immune system, not the brain, which is amazing to me, which really dovetails nicely with sort of my feeling about this and other things that you've told me, and that is that the immune system is a very delicate thing that you don't want to mess with if you don't have to.
That's right.
And I love our approach of just treating the cancer instead of the immune system. And the fact that you guys have found a way to make that cancer basically hang a big neon sign on itself and to stimulate those gamma delta cells to go after it, I think that this is going to absolutely change the whole paradigm for treating cancer. I can't tell you how excited I am about this work. The patent means that we now have ownership over this, and that's critically important to commercialization. And so, this is just very, very exciting news. I'm so happy to be able to share it with everybody almost real time as we got the news. We literally got this letter a day or two ago. So anyway, thanks so much for sitting in on this, and let's do more of these things, because I think that the things that are going on in the R&D department aren't just incredibly impressive. They're understandable too, and they're a big deal. And so it's really nice to have you drop in like this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.